Hi, everyone. Allison Livingston, 5 Steps to Connect. And we have a new series that I am super excited about. It is the fourth step in the 5 Steps to Connect framework. And I realize I haven't really, just want to take a step back briefly to let everyone know what the 5 Steps to Connect framework is and what the other two in the series were. So this is our third in the series. The first one was emotional well-being. That is step number 3 in the 5 Steps to Connect, emotional flow and experiencing our emotions that drives so much, even when we don't pay attention to us. And the second was thought traps, and that is how we use our minds almost to the exclusion of our body wisdom, our emotional wisdom, and our values wisdom. So the 5 steps are meeting your raw and real self, and there's a second portion in that about working with your thoughts. The second step is your body wisdom, somatic wisdom, because our bodies don't lie. The third is the emotional well-being and experiencing our feelings. And this is the fourth, which is the values. And when we can connect to our values and live from our values motivation, boy, can life start really becoming exciting and alive. And it's really changing safety systems from our reactivity, which is flight, fight, freeze, which we're going to go a little bit more into, and going to a system where you are so grounded, so connected, so integrated, so in the flow of the present moment that you don't need a safety system. You can leave that where it belongs to protect our physical safety. And what has happened in modern life is that now we have our fight, flight, freeze become a safety system for our psychology and our interpersonal relationships, when it was never designed for that. So I'll tell you what it was designed for. I was on a bike ride not very near our home. We went on this 3-hour ride with my husband. He's a crazy cyclist. And we were miles and miles away near where I used to work at 1440 Multiversity, and coming down a road, if any of you know it, called Bean Creek. And it's pretty steep, and I was going fast on a road bike. And all of a sudden, a squirrel jumped in front of the road in my path. And he was squirreling literally back and forth, trying to figure out from his hearing where I was. So he was using his reactive limbic system. I was using my just unconscious reactive system. I slammed on the brakes. I made sure I was wide and I had my balance. My adrenaline kicked in. I was completely just flooded with just cortisol and adrenaline so that I could navigate this very dangerous. I could have flipped over the bike. I could have hit the squirrel. I was able to navigate, avoid the squirrel, get the brakes on enough to do that, and not flip the bike over. You can imagine that my heart just was going crazy. And I literally had to just stop and just go, because there was just so much energy and chemicals coursing through my body. That is exactly what my limbic system is designed for. And it performed beautifully. Thank God we have this reaction system, because it can save our lives before we're even aware our lives need saving. However, when this same very strong reactive system kicks in, when my daughter says no, or I don't want to go to the park, or God, we had that last night, I don't want it again, all these things, kids, or my coworker says, you really are going to present it like that? Criticizing my brilliant ideas. Or something happens with your spouse and they kind of look you over and say, you're going to wear that? Again, all of these that I've just described have kicked my same limbic system into overdrive, and I'm ready to tear them apart. So the fight becomes blame, my need to be right, my need to judge and criticize and complain. And these are the thought traps that are not very effective at getting what we want. But boy, do they come out when we get these verbal interplays and we take them wrong. We take them personally, and then we feel like we are threatened. So that's what kicks in our limbic system. The other part of our limbic system is fight, flight, or freeze. And these look like, again, when I get a comment like that, I need to feel numb, to withdraw, to disown discomfort, to exile parts of myself that I think are not being valued and appreciated and accepted. I'll just withdraw them. I won't be so big. So these are the things that we do, and this is how it comes out in our relationships. How about if instead of these old patterns and this old safety system of blame, right, criticize, withdrawing, exiling parts of ourselves, what if we instead could create new habits? What if we could speak in unarguables, emotional well-being, the embodiment, so we were aware of what our wise selves, our wise embodiment could tell us, and that we were open to working with our thoughts, so we weren't attached to being right, but we could be open to many perspectives. What if we could always come from a values vocabulary, if we were attuned to our values, so we could drop right into what was vitally important to us, instead of all the verbal spin out we end up spending so much time and wasted energy on. That's what we're going to talk about in this new series. So what I mean by values are the universal values that, or needs that nonviolent communication and many other modalities talk about. They are universal in that all humans need them. We may prioritize them in different ways. We may need them at different times, but the idea and my life experience is that we have them all within us all the time, unless because of my attention and my thoughts get taken elsewhere. So the exercise is in having a vocabulary and being able to tune into what I'm feeling, because that gives me a message about what I'm valuing, what is really important to me. And when I can connect to that sense of values, of my shoulders can drop, I feel alive, I feel empowered, I feel like I can take on the world. So the two examples I want to just go over today. One is my value of safety. And I described this, I'm just going to touch on it. The difference of my physical safety of my bike experience, when that was completely an appropriate limbic response, versus my need for emotional safety within my home, with my partner, with my children. And the idea of not speaking about them, shoulding them, or emoting at them, but instead owning my lived experience, owning that this is happening with me, for me, and that I value safety, and I value this sense of I know myself better than anyone, and I'm going to speak for myself. And oh my goodness, when I'm able to feel emotionally safe, then my guard can drop, my shoulders can drop, my stomach unclenches, my breathing unclenches, I can get a deep breath. Oh my gosh, the felt sense of connecting to safety, and particularly emotional safety, is incredible. The other I want to touch on is a very core need, which is our need to be seen. It's one that our kids are very in tune with, which is why they're always wanting our attention and to tell us things and to show us things and to want our approval and our attention. And when I'm in this place where I am feeling in tune with my need to be seen and then I can give that to them. And it's just a gift. And so I encourage you to tune in this week. The exercise is to look at, I'll see if I can put the list of values up on Facebook somehow, and for you just to look over the list of some of these core, they think there are 72 to over 100 core universal needs values. And just start the awareness of tuning into them. And whenever you're either upset or feeling great, what value am I connecting to right now? Or when upset, what value am I feeling apart from? Am I yearning for? So enjoy practicing this week, and I look forward to hearing any comments or questions about this really important topic of values. Because if we don't live from that motivation of values, we're usually in a sense of worry or fear or reactivity, and that doesn't feel so good. So have a great week, or see you Thursday.